Good morning to you. It is Monday, also daylight savings time, 7:51. Farah Fazal from News Channel 5 also along. And good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Did you enjoy that extra hour?
Of what?
This is what I said on Sunday morning. Of what?
Extra hour
It didn't
what?
feel like anything.
Yeah, I went
really.
to bed at like 9 o'clock thinking, I get some. At midnight, I wake up. I'm like, good nap. Okay, let's go. It's like, oh, no. But, we trudge through. It's not like I'm on a crane soldering beams. We got pretty good jobs.
Right. I mean, you have to put things into perspective.
I'm not going to complain.
Right.
Although I've watched you on television going, wow, it's really cold out there. I would not want to be doing that right now. Of course, midterm elections set for tomorrow. Not a huge turnout expected, but there are some things on the ballot that has caused a lot of conversation and consternation, and education, something that is always being argued about, and ironically, it's the most educated people that are doing the arguing. So we're talking about the tools that were given to us, and what do we do? And no surprise, the teacher tenure is Amendment 3 on your ballot tomorrow. A lot of talk about it. Michael Sherman, Communication Director, Protect Our Local Schools. They are against Amendment 3, and Michael joins us on the program to fill in some of the blanks. Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good. Thanks for joining us on the program. All right, let's spell this thing out. Teachers and teachers' organizations and unions not happy about this because one of the things that it does not let them collective bargain, and it also holds accountability based on standardized tests, which I think a lot of people are not comfortable with either.
Yeah, that's correct. The biggest thing actually this amendment does, it'll take away local control of the schools, and will implement this one-size-fits-all approach to students, which gets back to standardized testing. The local control aspect is huge, especially for rural communities, and communities that are further away from the cities, even in cities like St. Louis and Kansas City. Because now, under this amendment, you have DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, come in. They could be telling school districts what they can and can't do. And that's a real problem because
I think some people like the fact that there is an accountability factor to this, where if a teacher does not perform, then they could lose their job, and this would be all spelled out. But the fact that they use a standardized test, again, going back to what you say, doesn't necessarily take individual kids into account. We've got a rating system for radio. It's crap. We don't even use it, but it is the only one out there. So if you don't use some type of testing to measure a teacher's success, how do you do it?
Sure. So the real accountability comes from the principals in the classroom, parents giving feedback, and other teachers giving input to other teachers. And that system's already in place. You can talk to just about any superintendent, and if they have an ineffective teacher right now, and talk to a principal too, if there's an ineffective teacher in the classroom, the first thing they want to try to do is improve that teacher. Because that teacher's probably really good at 95% of what they do, but they need to improve that extra 5%. Well, let's improve that teacher first before we fire anyone. If they're not meeting the standards of that improvement plan, then they can move them along in the or they can move them away from the profession. So there's already accountability going on in the classroom, and that's one of the biggest myths that comes with this amendment.
Michael, there were a lot of schools obviously failing in Missouri, and several of them here in our area. And during the rehiring process at Normandy, one of the things that both the superintendent and the commissioner of education said is that we really need to make sure that teachers are accountable and that we know that they're teaching children, so they need to reapply for their jobs. And I know that made teachers very nervous. What responsibility do you think some of this falls on teachers, and what responsibility does it fall on training teachers, really? Some of those days that they used to have really sort of dissipated, haven't they?
Sure. Teachers are accountable to themselves. Look, no teacher gets into this profession thinking, they're going to get a free ride and they're going to get a free meal ticket, and that's all they're there for. Work 9 to 5 and go home, sleep, and not care about anything. Most teachers are there because they love their students. They want to help their students learn and grow. So, that's another big problem with this amendment. Every single teacher out there is there to do a job, and a very, very important job. So, I can't speak on the specifics at Normandy. I was never involved in that process. I've never too close to that process, so it's really hard for me to talk about that. But here's what I do know, and that's that teachers really want to be in that classroom because they want to help their students learn. They want to help, their students learn critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills and move them past this standardized testing model of education where they're not really learning. So, most teachers out there are really great at their jobs, and they have a passion for what they do.
That is absolutely clear, and we have a lot of people that we know, a lot of teachers that we know and that we have profiled that really do care about going to school every day and doing the hard work. So, it's no secret in Missouri that we've got a system that doesn't really work as well as it could. What is really the fix for that? Is Amendment 3 really going to be a major overhaul of public education, Michael?
Yeah, it will be a major overhaul, and it will be a major negative overhaul. So what we'll do is, now it's going to, like you guys just mentioned, it's a standardized testing model of education that we'll implement. So now every single student will have to take a test, a standardized test for every single class. And so that includes kindergartners, first graders, and second graders will now be standardized tested under Amendment 3. Well, standardized tests, for one, have been proven to be a very ineffective way to teach and evaluate students' learning. The real learning comes from the critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and that takes place, when a teacher develops these individualized education plans for each student, because each student comes into, let's say, fourth grade at a different reading level, a different math level, and every single part of their academic background, they're all at different levels. Well, Amendment 3 throws that right out the window. So now they're saying you have to get a score on the standardized test. You have to be all the same, and we have to teach you all the same, when that's very ineffective.
So firefighters and police officers have to retrain every year with their guns and their training. Should that be a paradigm that teachers should have as well? Should there be some sort of accountability every year that you have to? Should there be a periodic evaluation system?
There kind of is already in place. So, teachers are evaluated every single year, just about every single day. So, teachers are never, just given this kind of free ride where, you get your education, your 4-year degree, and then maybe a master's degree or even PhD in some circumstances, and then you're done. They're evaluated strongly every year by their principals and by the school district. And then after that, a lot of teachers most teachers take, these trainings and these seminars, and they're constantly improving themselves, and they have to stay up to date with the curriculum. So teachers are constantly learning on the job, with these programs to help further their profession. There already is kind of that evaluation system in place. Like I said, every single year, teachers have to be evaluated.
Teacher tenure.
And that's also one of these. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, teacher tenure, Amendment 3 on the ballot tomorrow. That's Michael Sherman, Communication Director, Protect Our Local Schools, obviously against Amendment 3. Michael, thanks so much for the time. Sorry we got to run. We got to help people get from